What do you think of Multibook's acquisition by Mark Zuckerberg?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think Mark Zuckerberg is just making a lot of bets, which is good because, the biggest risk in today's world is if you miss out on an opportunity. Right?
OpenClaw, I think it's mostly content creators that are making content and not using it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I think the auto research, right, especially in this big 2026, working on just like projects at your home has become kind of invaluable. Right now, what's important is to work on something that is in production, that is actually solving a problem.
Yep.
So people have been wanting to join. So we're just building an initiative where we connect builders or founders to people who want to work in startups. It was one of the problems that I found. I once started this other platform. It was called Picked with Pride.
Pick with Pride?
Yeah, that was 2020.
Okay.
I was back in Zimbabwe. It was just to bridge between if you remember the idea that I throw in the group, like bridging between like farmers and actual supermarkets. You know how in Africa there's a lot of like middlemen in between. So we're cutting those, and it was like at that point it was vague, but over time I've thought of like some things that can be helpful to it. But it was just like a connection between farmers and like supermarkets. They put their products there. The supermarkets put their requests there, and then you just connect them. And
you have just described one of my close friend's businesses.
Oh, did he?
He pitched it to me last weekend.
Oh,
he's a product manager at IBM, and he's been playing with these tools as well.
Okay.
He did MIS. He's a consultant, at IBM.
Okay.
So he's building this website that helps people in farmers market in Des Moines. So if you're going to farmers market, you can basically put stuff in your cart ahead of time and skip the line. So then it's a marketplace where you have the farmers and then, the buyers. That's how you described it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't get shocked if I tell you that I'm now implementing in Africa because I want to cut the middlemen. Those farmers don't get as much money as they should because the middlemen who come and negotiate on behalf of like both sides, they play like the casino.
True.
They don't farm it. They just are in between, and they negotiate both sides,
You see, we're going so advanced into our discussion already because in Africa, if you cut out the middlemen are literally the ones that promote your business. And, in Africa, everyone wants to take a piece of the pie. So if you cut off the middlemen, you kill the adoption. So,
no, cut the middlemen and create a market where there's direct linkage,
Your favorite word, efficiency.
It's efficient. Deliveries are faster. Margins for farmers grow up. Even supermarkets getting the advantage because they're getting it at a very lower price, and farmers can sell slightly higher. This ones get a little bit lower. So
true.
It's a fair game. It's a win-win for both of them.
True.
So I'm looking into it, and I'm not actively looking into it because Linux is my time, but it's one of them things which I might think of and put on the ground if I have someone who wants to run it. These days I'm just interested in solving problems. I'm not interested in running them, but
that's what I want to hear. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, but let's see how it goes.
But okay. I hate that we're already touching into these things. Like, we're already flowing, but real quick, today we have a late or middle introduction, so this is something very special. Welcome to Technologia, your one place where we break down the latest trends in technology and finance, where we dissect AI and economic strategy. Thank you for tuning in. We are your hosts, Elvis and Explicit.
Hello, I'm Explicit. I'm the founder of Linux. Co-host here at Technologia. And here at Technologia, we are building solutions, and we are having people come in to be part of those solutions. We are looking for way more innovators. People want to work on projects. People want to make the world a better place.
Yes. And my name is Elvis. I'm the founder of Trolley, the first agentic bartering platform that allows cashless exchange of goods and services. Basically the next Facebook marketplace where everything from search, negotiation, delivery, and payment is handled by agents. Thank you for tuning in. Our discussion started a long time ago. You were just saying how you love to solve problems today, and also how you have different people that you're offshoring the problems to. I interrupted you. Keep talking.
No, so the thing is, I'm kind of positioned in a position. That statement is, I don't know how it is, but I'm positioned in a position where I can do a lot of things.
English is not his first language. Actually, it is. I'm joking.
But the position that I'm in, I can build a lot of solutions, but I cannot continuously run those solutions. My time is mostly focused on bringing what technology is providing to people here at Technologia, and also it's distributed towards Linux, building better education systems for the future, because like education is changing day by day, so I have to be proactively be involved in Linux. So that's where most of my time has been, and of course sometimes school.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of problems that can be solved through technology. Some cannot be solved through technology, but sometimes I know how to solve those problems. So I was like, how do you go about when you're in such a position? Find other people who are ambitious, who have a strong vision, give them these products, and they continue running them. Because at the end of the day, we just want to make the Earth a better place for everyone. That's
True.
Yeah.
True. So you're building for the love of the game.
That's that's the difference, Me, I'm loving the game. I'm enjoying the game. No, I think it's really important for us to really utilize the AI before the bad people start utilizing the AI. We have to move faster than the negative effects that AI might produce. So just making sure that we have a net positive outcome from AI.
True. I love everything you're saying. To put you on the spotlight for a second, why do you feel like you have to offshore offshore the problem to someone else? I know you mentioned giving other people a spotlight, because some people really want this as their full-time, and then they can use it for whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But why is it important for you? Is it community, or why are you doing this?
Okay, so the first thing is I've always been a fan of giving back to the community.
I can tell you're a politician.
No, it's one of those things that I think about daily, that how do I give back to the community? And for a long time, it was the information that I had.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we started this podcast, sharing the information that I have. You see that in most of my spare time, I'm helping out like students in finance learn better, or I'm building this custom tool for students in finance, or whatever students, or in economics especially. Those are my two special areas, finance and economics. I know those things from the back of my head.
Yeah.
So usually helping out people with that information was my usual way to give back to the people. But since I've entered tech and I've gotten a lot of experience in tech, I've seen that, I have way more to give back to the solution, to the society. And I'm just expanding on that, and also giving other people these opportunities. And and also the fact that I can't run all these things by myself at the end of the day, since I'm still making Linux, making people's education way better than it is today.
But I thought that's what having sub-agents is for, orchestrating on your behalf.
Vision. Comes to vision.
Yeah.
That's why we are kind of looking for visionary people that want to run these projects.
I'm a visionary.
You have a lot on your hand already.
Oh, that's true.
You have Trolley, you have work, you have Technologia. You still have to give people this information. We love the information that you provide to people.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's why we are looking for people with great vision.
Yeah.
agents are there for those people to implement their vision. So we still need the orchestrators of our vision.
True. So one of the questions that we had for today's segment was, do you have any ideas that you want to work on, but you don't have time, and so you're offshoring it? And you've already answered that very well. I know my favorite classes when I did my undergrad in software engineering, because you get to work on real problems, build a solution, an app, right? And then I was asking him, hey, instead of just building this project just to get grades from the TA, you could actually solve a real problem, make money, and make a difference, right? And he was building basically a sports betting app for Africa. And I was like, you could actually go an extra mile and literally build the full thing. You don't have to just do something mediocre, right? And he had doubts in the idea. He wasn't even thinking that far ahead, but I kept telling him all the ways he could make money out of it. And he was like, yo, I love this idea. And it got me thinking, like, I have tried multiple startups at this point. Some have been moderately successful, but there've been multiple times where I have a very good idea that I'm giving to other people, but then I find myself not working on it, and then I'm like missing out on an opportunity like that. So I was curious if you've had something like that, because I was telling him, because he was like, oh yeah, if you want to build a sports betting app in Africa, you need a lot of money, you need to have like $100 million. And I was like, what? Because he was saying, of course, when you're gambling, you need to have a lot of money so that you can pay people who win, right?
Okay.
But then I was just telling him, like, if you look at the conversion rates, you actually don't need $100 million.
Yeah.
We did the math and we found out if you had like maybe even $20,000, you can set up your stakes in a way where the house wins and you can still make a marginal profit, kind of like game theory. And you can still hedge your bets. And he was like, well, what if one person is like so good at gambling, he actually takes all our money? And then I told him, you know what? You could just edge his bets. So if someone like puts in, let's say, 20 million Ugandan shillings, right?
Yeah.
Or like a lot of money, you can basically use that. Like, let's say if they're a very good bettor, right?
Yeah.
You could use their money and bet it in American dollars too, right? And so if their bet wins, that was like an outlier, it also wins for your system. And so then you're actually hedging their bet because I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah. It might make sense for you, but let me explain to the viewers. So let's say someone put 100 million shillings, right? Ugandan shillings, and he converted that to US dollars. Let's say that, hypothetically, this is an extreme exaggeration, let's say that 100 million shillings was equal to 5,000 American dollars, right? So it's a lot of money. Now, we don't want to lose 5,000 American dollars, right? We want to make a lot of small calculated risks. We can also make the equal amount of money. Like, we take that $5,000 and also make a bet just like the person did. And so let's say in the random case that they win, we'd pay them out their 100 million shillings. But if we won as well here with their bet, we would win maybe 10 million US dollars, kind of. So we're hedging their bet against another market. But yeah, so that was like a random idea that I had.
And we should actually invite you to finance so that you start looking into hedging, shorts, and core options and things like that. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so the question was, have you had ideas maybe that you feel like you don't have the time to work on, so you offshore to someone else?
Oh, so there's the two on top of my mind.
Yeah.
Which is the Technologia Builders Network.
Yep.
I recently put out a poster and I'm probably putting another poster out. So we're just building an initiative where we connect builders or founders to people who want to work in startups. It was one of the problems that I found here on campus, that usually there are a lot of startups and there are a lot of people in marketing, finance, or even in software engineering, computer engineering, or whatever sector that want to have some experience, especially in this big 2026, working on just like projects at your home has become kind of invaluable. Right now, what's important is to work on something that is in production, that is actually solving a problem.
Yep.
So people have been wanting to join those little startups, get that experience, start working on something. So I was like, this is a whole market that's there, but there's a big disconnect.
Yep.
Why don't we just bring them in one place where they can find each other? So that was the whole mechanism behind Technologia Builders Network. So I'm currently looking for a visionary that can push this vision forward, just by making sure they connect these builders and these people that want to be engaged in products to push it forward. That was like one of the ideas. So
And you're having strong early growth already. We're growing really fast in London and California.
So far we've had a lot of people interested in running this. We're still structuring how we would give the people that will run this. We'll probably have that information by next week so that we see that it is positioned well and it can have the exponential growth that it has, which we did not expect. We just thought this was going to be a thing for Iowa State University, but we might extend it to other universities and other places around as well.
Sure. I love that. So that was the first question, which was, have you had any ideas for things that you wanted to build but haven't had the time to work on? And I talked about the betting app that I've been thinking about, and then Technologia Builders Network.
Yeah, the fun thing is Technologia's Builders Network is halfway built. It's kind of functional now. We're going to start onboarding founders soon. So if you're a founder and you're interested in finding people to work on some things and, have more people to work with you, whatever you're working on, contact us and we'll get you onboarded. Soon, we'll have it published to the public so that it starts being functional. So it's actually going great.
Love that. This other question, I know we're moving into spring break, and that's a great time for builders like you. I know some of the ideas you've told me. I know this is a good time to bring it up, but you're also building a Tinder for AIMS.
Yeah. So we I wouldn't say it's a Tinder for AIMS. It's more like a Tinder for AIMS in some way, but it's more of a networking hub. It is hard for people to find friends, find the love of their lives, find other people on campus.
True.
Including like campus events, right?
That is true.
So we're just building a central. I think, looking at the problems that I've been solving have more been like networking people. I think I've been interested in networking people, make sure there's a network of people. So we're building something that connects you to whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for a friend who majors in a specific major, you can easily find, like sometimes there might be 1,000 people that majors in the same major as you, but you might have not found any people in the same major because the classes you are in, maybe you're finding people from different majors, but you still want some friends from your major. So we just want to make a simple system where people just onboard there and they can just find other people on campus. If you're just like looking for friends who do specific things, you can still find them on campus. So it's something that is likely to come after the break. We have already started. It's already in production. I don't know how many things are in production, but things are moving more. So it's already in production. And if this is something that is interesting to you, I think this is one of the other projects that I also want to find someone who's visionary to run them. I want someone who put their vision within the platform. They will be kind of the founding lead in this product.
Yes.
And I won't have much hands-on in the product. They'll probably be running this thing. And, it's a great project to have say that you have run because you kind of start understanding how to network people, how to build the network layers behind the application, and things like that. And you don't even have to be technical or to be a software engineer, computer engineer. We just need people with the vision to say, okay, naturally, how do I connect people on campus and what to do? And the engineering behind the applications and everything, I'll definitely be there to help you out, navigate it, and it will probably be the simplest thing that you'll be doing.
I love that. I love that. So we're moving into a very interesting segment. A lot has happened this week in technology, and my friend, Explicit being the expert that he is, I had a few questions to ask you for what's happening.
I'm no expert, but go on.
in technology this week. So the first question is, what do you think of Multibook's acquisition by Mark Zuckerberg?
It's one of them things that have been on my mind for the past 2 days. I don't know why that acquisition was for. I'm still trying to figure out if Mark Zuckerberg will bring agents on social media like Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, but I think that would be a very terrible idea.
You know, we first thought about this when he made an attempt to buy OpenClaw.
Yeah.
And we were guessing, is it just trying different experiments, or is there like something new that they're trying to come up with? You know, like is this like a random acquisition, or there's something that's hidden that we were yet to see?
No, but that's interesting. Considering that everyone is saying that in the future, all the platforms will be mostly agents.
Agentic, yeah.
I think him being a lead in social media,
Yeah.
and Multibook is a social media for agents, that might be a great addition to his portfolio. But I'm not really sure about the social media for agents. It's one of the things that I find useless.
True, especially when you think about a lot of the posts in Multibook were fake.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder why they'd pay all that money for it when they could just build their own. But I think, again, it comes down to moats. And in this case, Multibook already has the social media. Everyone's talking about it, you know. Even if they built a better version, the adoption, and then having people then try to disconnect from Multibook and then reconnect to theirs would just be so much work, especially now that the hype is dying, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
No, that's actually interesting because Multibook, one of the most useless things that I've seen. But I mean, if people think that we are not going to be having conversations online and our agents are the ones that are going to have conversations, then maybe, but pretty much useless. I don't see the value added to us.
Yeah. No, I think Mark Zuckerberg is just making a lot of bets, which is good because, you know, the biggest risk in today's world is if you miss out on an opportunity, right? Yeah.
But I think, bets should be calculated bets at the end of the day. But you never know. Maybe he has something behind his brains that we're not thinking of at the moment. You know, sometimes you kind of have to see what the future looks like in the next year before anything else. So
yes. So the next question is, what do you think about Roy Lee's response to TechCrunch? Some brief introduction is Roy Lee is this very famous founder. He built Cluely, which was very heavily talked about a year ago because Roy Lee is a very controversial person. He got kicked out of Stanford and then another university as well because he was cheating. And how he did this was he was the first to build, what was it called? Before it was called Cluely.
FAQ lit code.
Yeah, FAQ lit code, which basically allows software engineers to cheat in their coding interviews. So the whole goal was to replace lit code, which is, I'm all for it. So yeah, you don't have to study for your Google interview. You just have an AI that answers your question. And he bragged about this, went super viral online, but then because he had offers from Amazon, Google, and a few others, McKinsey maybe, but then they all kind of emailed the university asking him to get kicked out, which he did get kicked out. But then he turned things around, and I think he got about, was it $16 million or
Around 16, yeah.
Yeah, from A16Z. And now, yeah, he's a millionaire. But about a week ago, he came out and he confessed that he had overinflated his numbers. He says, he inflated his numbers. He lied about how much profit they were making, which everyone does, honestly.
I don't.
True. But yeah, what do you think about Roy Lee's response to TechCrunch? Because TechCrunch was calling him a fraud, and yeah, what do you think of it?
So, I think TechCrunch, what they did was so wrong because, like, I think it was a minor thing. The number was, I think, instead of reporting 15.3 million or 15.3 million, he reported like around 16 million. That was kind of like the error. And from Roy Lee, he was the one who actually released these two figures, right? And he mentioned that there was a miscalculation that happened, and which is a thing that we expect from like early startups. And it's not like he's inflating from 1 million to 16 million. So him coming out and the disclosure was okay. But I hated the video that he made I don't know, I wasn't just a fan of that, or that yelling and all that, especially if you're considering working with like businesses, right? There's a way to handle business when you're doing with business with other business. B2B is a different kind of game than B2C. Maybe in B2C, that's a good game plan, but when you're working with businesses, we just want things which are proper. We just want, I don't know, that yelling and that was so unnecessary.
No, I actually like Roy Lee. I think what he did wasn't that bad. I'm all about having conviction behind what you're doing, especially if you're going to be a visionary, right? And I think that's what he's doing. Like, yes, it's nice that he came out and actually confessed to inflating his numbers, which is very respectable. Not a lot of people do that. And a lot of tech companies lie about their MRR, I think he's proving every day why he's the GOAT when it comes to attention and, virality. And yeah, I think his video, the one that he made in response to TechCrunch, I think had like 10 million views. There's like a Subway surfers running behind him. When he stood up, he was wearing underwear.
Why are you wearing an underwear? Why do we need to see your underwear?
At the end of the day, attention is all you need.
If you're working in B2C, but if your customers are other businesses, well,
let's be real. The B2B thing is just a hoax. It's not going anywhere.
The whole product is not going anywhere.
True. So that's why he's doing this.
Because there's no product at the end of the day.
True.
It's all virality, as you were mentioning.
True. It's a product. So I think he did the right thing. Like, if you can get 10 million organic views like he did, he's showing that he can consistently, win the system, beat the algorithm. And another company like A16Z or another one will just in the future back him because they just know that his brand, his ability to get attention will help in any distribution medium for whatever startup he might join. Like, he's flopping right now, but he could join the next big thing and help them get attention. And he'll be a billionaire.
No, that's true. But you know what I hate? What I hate with this whole push for virality is the fact that now everyone is, because when he started it, right, everyone started getting into virality without a product, right?
True.
Which just messes up the tech world and other people who want to get into innovation. Because people are pushing nothing and they're getting this viral, and some are lying about metrics. Now future founders might think that the space is not workable.
True. Paul Graham said rage bait is fake. So don't live off of rage bait. At the end of the day, would you say this was rage bait or this was just unprofessional?
I think it's both unprofessional and rage bait. Roy Lee has just been a rage baiter since the start of his companies. So that's the only thing that I go against. I love his content. I love his content, but I just hate what it projects to other future founders and what it projects to customers. Sometimes that's how tech now seems like a scam to some extent when people are advertising things where there's no product. Because like if you see his first initial launch and the product that they had,
Yeah.
they had two different things. His first launch, he was sitting on a date, and he had this AI that was telling him things to say and things like that.
That
right?
was a great video.
A great video, wonderful video. It showed it showed like futuristic technology.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't have that product. So when people now come to their websites, they're like, okay, we're checking for this product, and they don't find that product. Those are the things that just like makes kind of tech look like kind of work. Like,
You see, I agree with you because I do hate people that do the same thing online. But I'm happy that at least Roy Lee is a founder and he's a tech bro, so I can get behind that. I'm a little bit biased here. I hate when non-tech people go on Instagram and then inflate the numbers. They'll actually show you a graph and say, "Oh, look at my Stripe link. Like I made 1 million last month," and then they'll sell you some stupid tool. See, it's kind of hypocritical because now I'm giving Roy Lee a pass and some people not, but I just like Roy Lee. At least in his case, he's a founder and sometimes he's honest, like he confesses. But there are just so many tech founders that aren't as popular, but every day they're inflating their numbers on some calorie tracking app, which I think is the big problem. I think this is why we talk about if we were just so much in the AI bubble, because I don't know if an average non-technical person knows Roy Lee, but a lot of people that are in tech know Roy Lee and they know the kind of pain and struggle that it takes to be a real founder compared to just any other random person that's hearing about a calorie tracking app that's,
No, that's super valid. That's super valid. But at the end of the day, I think in tech we should push for authenticity and being truthful. That's something that I learned from like Warren Buffett when he was talking that like when he made deals with people, he like mostly preferred to deal with people that he could like easily trust. He didn't have to verify their books of accounts and things like that. That's the word that I imagine. That's like great business. When you can just like sign things off a handshake, no signature, no nothing. It just builds trust. But if things continue moving this way, that whole trust won't be built on top of it. So,
which kind of reminds me, I think what you were actually against was someone made a post and said that in today's world, it wasn't that authenticity doesn't matter, but he said no matter the price, just go viral. People will forget and move on. So if you have any way of beating the algorithm, go for it. And they kind of gave stats like think of Trump and all the things he's gotten away with, but he came back and won the election the second time around. And so if you have any way of going viral or making money, do it before AI causes us to all lose our jobs. And you were against that. I was kind of like, yeah, he's not lying technically.
No, the way I would say this is that let's imagine a world where everyone is taking that strategy, right?
Yeah.
They want to go viral. And I don't think that whole virality thing is important because most of the times when I say virality is not important, people think that it's because I'm not viral. But if I wanted to be viral today, I can start making some content, like I have some political views sometimes that can even get me so viral.
Oh, you do?
Sometimes it's just the truth. But you see, I'm here making podcast in technology because that is the information that is important to pass to people that I know that I can really deliver to people. So I think if we build a system like that where people are actually just building authentic content, I think we can thrive in that world way better than a world where everyone is striving to become as like popular because I don't think there's anything coming out of like popularity. I don't think that will shape the future AI world that we're even talking about. So
True. I guess maybe what I'm trying to say is don't be nonchalant when it comes to chasing your dreams. If you have a way of being chalant and having conviction and going for it 100% or even 150%, go for it. But understand there's a cost, and at least don't do something crazy like
nah, there's no way to be chalant and chase that dream, bro. You have to be nonchalant to chase that. You have to be
chalant.
so chalant to
Yep.
to chase that dream for sure.
That's what we agree on, yeah. Third question is, what do you think of Andrew Karpathy's new, I think it's Open Research?
Auto research.
Auto Research. What do you think about that?
So that's a great tool. For some context on the tool, I don't know much about it, but I've looked a little bit into it. It's this other tool that looks at your AI model and continuously finds a way to refine it to improve the AI model that you have. So usually people leave it to run overnight. So it runs overnight and it checks like what your parameters are, what your AI model looks like. And in the morning, during the night, it actually runs some tests to see the current model and to see where it can improve. And then it implements the improvements and then tests them to see if, and it runs like benchmarks to see if there's any improvement, which is really great. And I think that is the world of recursive improvements that we're getting into.
Yes.
And the fact that it has been provided to the public on open source and it runs on one GPU, that is great.
It is.
That is great. And looking at people like Andrew Karpathy, I really respect the man because he builds like a lot of tools that are useful to so many people.
Transformers.
And he actually just put them like outsource them so that like we all improve whatever we have. I think that's how we build tech. I know you're about to talk about your free software.
Oh yeah, there is that too. Yeah, there is that too. It's the future, obviously. But I was gonna say, like, you two are doing the same thing. You're outsourcing your stuff. You know, you're building and giving it out to the community, just like Andrew Karpathy. So.
Oh, somewhat. He's just next level. He's just next level, and I think these methods of recursive learning are provided to tech people or anyone who wants to be involved in tech. It's just great.
So that is the future, and we need more of that. Something that I don't like is, unlike OpenClaw and other things that have been going super viral, this one is just going under the covers. There's no YouTuber making a video how to set up auto research, and there's no virality behind this. And yet, this is actually more important and more significant.
No, that's true. That's true. I think it also comes to the cost barrier that's there, because when I was looking into it, was that you need an Nvidia GPU.
One GPU.
Yeah, so I think the fact that you need an Nvidia GPU might be, but I think, don't they have some which cost like 600, just as equivalent to a Mac Mini?
So I was going to catch you there. So you're saying people can go buy Mac Minis, but when it comes to buying a GPU, all of a sudden money is tight.
So, that's where it brings to something that you were mentioning and that I've mentioned in our chats as well. Both of us have mentioned it in our chats, that some people are just making things to make content.
Yeah.
OpenClaw, I think it's mostly content creators that are making content and not using it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I think the auto research, right? It's kind of authentic people, because you can just come and start talking about auto research without really looking into it and using it at the end of the day. So
yes. And that's what I was, not to go back in the previous conversation, but that's what I was saying I hate about other founders. Unlike Roy Lee, I can empathize with Roy Lee's story, given that I'm a founder that's actually doing serious stuff and trying to get into VC, as opposed to maybe other content creators who actually aren't building anything meaningful. They aren't trying to get into YC or VC, but they're just scamming people. Like, they wake up every morning and it's, how can we trick the algorithm? How can we trick people to go viral? But at least Roy Lee is trying to solve a problem, but trying to use virality as a means to solving that problem and attention. Oh, it's not like jumping between ideas every day that's hard to track, But an open cloud content creator is like, today I built this cloud skills that helps me post this thing with remotion, and it's just like it's tracking my retention rate of my videos, and it's just like you haven't even built this thing. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's a fair take, but remember that your boy sometimes his content is not related to his product. It's just like random content, which makes the diversion of like, what are we doing here? But
True. But to continue with Karpathy for a second, I think this trend gives the playbook for how to make money out of tech in the future. For too long, people say how to make it in tech is by solving problems, right? Building things that people want. YC. But when you look at OpenClaw and auto research, it's something that's revolutionary, that's visionary and new. And I think, also think about like Karpathy. This is not the first thing that he has made that has gone super viral.
Yeah.
And I think maybe as a founder, we need to get more technical and just move away from trying to be in the Red Sea, where there's too much competition, everyone's building the exact same tool, and then go a higher level, a level up, and focus on hard problems, focus on research, and something new, kind of like Multibook, kind of like OpenClaw, and now auto research. And also the framework or the playbook these days, it seems to be, when you make it as the founder, you're going to get bought by Mark Zuckerberg or OpenAI. So I think that's kind of the playbook. Don't try to build this next fitness app, calorie tracker. Do something that's more research focused.
yeah, I think that's a really big point, and I think it comes to one of the things that we're talking in our episode, our software engineers cooked, that the people that are going to survive in the new tech are going to be the people that love the game.
Yep.
Because tech is going to become way more competitive or way more intense despite AI being there. Because to make it, you have to actually be thinking about architectures properly, and you have to have the knowledge because like you cannot just vibe code something like auto research.
Yep.
Right? Definitely. Andrew Karpathy is a big fan of vibe coding. Even the owner, or he has the copyrights to the name vibe coding, he does vibe code. But the difference is that he has the know-how of how architecture are, and he tells the agents like what architecture should we come with. That's like was one of the differences that I saw between like many people and people like Andrew Karpathy, right? Andrew Karpathy brings out like so many tools, right? Not so many, but great tools, I can say. And the difference is that if you try to re-implement the tool without him implementing it first, you probably won't make it because there's so many ways to implement it, but there's maybe one or two ways to do it efficiently.
Get it right, yeah.
Yeah. So he knows the architecture and yada, 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 and he's a great engineer. So there's still that need of like software engineers that get into the weeds, really understand architectures, orchestrate these agents, but of course they're not going to be as many as we needed before.
True. This goes to our final question. It's been about 2 months now. Tell me, is OpenClaw a flop?
Okay. In our first episode, I came here and I said I wasn't a believer in OpenClaw. And this is our, if not 13th episode. And it's been 2 months since then, 1.5 months, I can say. OpenClaw it's useless. At this point in time, it's useless, and I don't see a future where it's going to survive. I know Nvidia is getting in to chip in with the GPU performances, yada, 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 but I don't see the proper use cases of OpenClaw at the end of the day. Maybe people are going to build tools around OpenClaw, which will make it more useful for you to control almost everything. But so far, I haven't gotten someone who actually really continuously uses OpenClaw to something that makes sense. All I've seen is content creators.
Yeah.
I haven't had the time to even configure it myself because I personally don't have anything to use it. I know some people say that it wakes up and gives them the morning brief, which is great, yada, yada, yada. But I don't think I need the morning brief at this point in time. I think I can make something that will give me a morning brief, and
If you wanted to.
yeah, which is not as extensive like OpenClaw. And
Sure.
even with like Claude chipping into like automated things, now you can call Claude with your phone to
Or
do
you
your
can
programming,
call it or you can text it.
or you can like tell it. You can like text it.
Okay.
They have a remote control
Yeah.
where you can just tell it on your phone and things like that. So it can do my coding. It can literally run things in the terminal. So I don't see like the use of OpenClaw going into the future. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree that right now there's just so much noise that's coming in from a lot of the tech content creators. I think I'm still a little bit bullish on OpenClaw. Like you said, people are going to have to build real things that create value at the end of the day. I'll give it a year,
Okay.
see what comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's important for agents to have autonomy and their own system
Agreed.
in the future. You know, yeah.
What about because we saw Nvidia and Palantir.
Yeah,
They are
most random collaboration.
they're integrating or collaborating to or doing a measure to work on an agentic OS.
Yeah,
Don't you think that will replace OpenClaw?
they would have to. I don't think it will.
Okay.
I think it's a very niche pool of people who have OpenClaw, and I don't think it's growing every day. Like that niche of people who use OpenClaw right now, I don't think it's growing. Whatever Nvidia makes up at the end of the day, they'd have to convince the existing people to delete what they currently have,
Okay.
and then switch to theirs. Which, if you were saying that there's no utility to OpenClaw, then whatever Nvidia is cooking has to have a big delta, step change, which we'll see.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Because Nvidia can now come and say that this runs at the most efficient GPU usage, and you know how Nvidia has been chipping into open source models,
Yeah,
connected to its open source models. I think that would be great.
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Which brings something interesting. Since what's his name again? The founder of OpenClaw.
Peter Steinberg.
Yeah, since Peter Steinberg joined OpenAI, I've seen he still does a lot of work on OpenClaw. What do you think the deal structure is set up like? What do you think he's kind of working in within OpenAI? Do you think he's still mostly focused on
OpenClaw?
OpenClaw?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
A lot of his posts are still about OpenClaw.
Okay.
I think he's going to be the OpenClaw head when it comes to when he's in OpenAI.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting.
But
Good.
of course, having someone with his background that's a visionary and a killer when it comes to coding will most definitely help OpenAI in whatever businesses they get to work on in the next few years. So
Okay. I think he'll be maybe part of engineering the long-running agents for OpenAI for like tackling things like business things.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I see also another reason why I'm very bullish when it comes to OpenClaw, their acquisition by OpenAI, you know. Having an OpenClaw can allow OpenAI to steal a market, kind of like Cursor's market, kind of. Because again, if I can just text my employee agent, that beats the need for having something like Cursor, you know?
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Sort of do you think it will be sort of a competition to cloud co-work?
Yeah, I think that's why they wanted it so bad. And I think they outbidded everyone who
did the bidding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting because cloud was like, no, we're not chipping into this deal, and they just improved cloud co-work. So that's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our segment. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
See you next time.